What's up, everyone? Welcome to 2025. We are bringing Monday Meals back, and it's so exciting, so amazing to be able to bring this back and to be able to do all this amazing stuff. So come on into the space. Can't wait to see you all. It's been so long. It's been an amazing journey through 2024. Woo! But I want to also just say, wow, aren't we out of 2024? Isn't it an amazing thing? So tell me what you all eating. I'm drinking some water because I don't have my food ready. But what are y'all eating today? What's going on in your world of dietary nutrition? Are you on that new year, new me, eating healthy? I know some folks are. So, welcome. Oxtails, delish. Share with us all, please. Love me some oxtails. Love it. So I'm going to bring our amazing let's see, y'all know I don't know how to do this all the best, but oh wait, request to join. So I see some oxtails. If not, share the spot. We all need to know where you got them oxtails from. Anyway, I love the fact that I'm gonna have some curry later because that's my favorite go-to, and I'm excited about it when we get done with Monday meals today. Introduce you to those who don't know, but most of you do. The amazing, the one, the only Chaney Turner, who's become our voter engagement director. What's up, Chaney?
Hey everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So, folks in the chat talking about oxtails, and listen, what you eating for lunch today?
Ooh, oxtails. I am hungry. That sounds actually really good.
Don't
I get my oxtails from I've been really hyping up this black woman owned restaurant called Wise Choice. YS, the letter YS. And she has some really good comfort food. Right on Broadway here in Oakland, I think like on the corner of Broadway and Third. Wise Choice.
not.
She has some bomb oxtails. I recently got some gumbo from there that was really good. I don't do everybody's restaurant gumbo, but that's the spot.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. I love this. I'm actually going to snatch back my earlier lunch pre-order. I'm not going to do curry today. I'm going to go over to the burger spot on Broadway. What was it called? Can't think of it. But anyway, it's on Broadway
I know
between
which
14th
one
and
you're
30th.
talking about.
Yeah, we went there.
Yeah,
That burger,
yeah,
that burger been calling my name. It's been calling my name. A
yeah.
good burger is everything.
We have some good spots downtown. We definitely got to support the small businesses and restaurants that we have down there. So I'm glad that we still have some options, old and new.
That's right. That's right. Well, speaking of food is amazing, and we could probably spend all the time in the world, but that is not the focus of this Monday meal. But maybe it could be. We should probably do a Monday meals. What's your favorite Oakland restaurant? But today we're actually here because it's 2025, y'all. Oakland Rising is so thrilled, so excited to welcome Chaney Turner as our voter engagement director. Chaney, tell folks who you are. How did you come to Oakland Rising?
Oh, wow. Well, for those who don't know me, Chaney Turner, Oakland native, Oakland lover. founder of Town Biz. Um, wow, how did I come to Oakland Rising? I think that is a great question. I've always have been a supporter of Oakland Rising. Oakland Rising has always been a supporter of the work that I do as well. The org aligns with, a lot of my values, especially when it comes to um, uh, supporting progressive candidates and championing for certain campaigns that, really center the voices of the real people in Oakland, those who are trying to stay housed, those who are advocating and doing, the work of holding our electeds and our law enforcement, accountable. And so Oakland Rising just represents an extension of me and the love that I have for Oakland. And it's an honor to be with the org and of course working alongside you and an amazing team of people. So extremely excited for 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, very excited. Chaney, what I love about you is your humbleness because you're like, oh, I'm just kind of the founder of this thing, and like, I do some things. Uh, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's an amazing part of your character. But I'm gonna just help you out because there's more than this.
Oops,
You
got some
remember
seat
how the
problems here.
grandmas used to give you this look, like you ain't saying. So let me help you out. So you are an elected representative. Is that correct?
That's
Tell us a
correct.
little bit about that work.
So currently, I am an elected delegate for Alameda County, representing the Democratic Party, and so a lot of that, entails, supporting our local and county electeds, holding them accountable for certain things, and also supporting the our constituents, in the district, District 18. We have so many different names for districts, but District 18 is the county district, which is Oakland, Alameda, and Emeryville. And so, any important issues that need to be elevated, in those particular districts, we work closely. I can speak for myself, working closely, alongside our electeds, such as our assembly member Mia Bonta, who represents District 18. And so, anything from, like right now, there's a lot of controversy around, illegal dumping and who's responsible for that, right? Some of that is on the county. And so we need to make sure that we work alongside those people to, address those issues and many, many, many more. And so I'm just glad to bring some of the experience that I've had doing, that work for the last couple of years over to Oakland Rising.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
is important because when I'm out in East Oakland and I see stuff, I try to use the 311 app. If you don't know about it, Oakland has a 311 app where you can report a lot of different things. It's not just for illegal dumping. There's many, many ways that you can utilize that resource. But it is a question, right, around accountability and community care, and it's exciting to hear you mention that like there is a state role in this as well, right? Of helping to address an issue that's very real, very important to us all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also think just the idea of like making sure representatives are being grounded in the voices of their constituents, right? We voted for them, but our vote is not the end of the work, right? And that's the core of what Oakland Rising really believes in, right? A lot of folks, welcome to Monday Meals. I know this might be your first. If not, one of your many amazing IG lives that you might be watching. But we're a collaborative, a racial, environmental, economic justice organizations that really want to build political power for us, Black folks, Latino folks, low income, working class, the people, right? And I think that that's really, really important, but it's important that we're building political power to create systems change, right? These systems are not
Mm-hmm.
all working for us. They definitely wasn't built by us, but they are
Right.
not working for us either, right? And so we believe in flexing people power to be able to make that change possible. And being a delegate is really important part of that process as well. So, like I said, I love that you humble, but we gotta talk about this amazing contributions that you be making on behalf of the people, because democracy is real. It takes all of us to participate in it and to make it functional, even when it doesn't feel so functional, across all the levels. Because there's so much going on federal. We ain't gonna have that conversation completely today. That's gonna be another future Monday
Right.
meals, but because that could be a whole. What I love about the idea of Monday Meals is we are having conversations with you all, and wanting to educate you all on who we are, but also the issues going on here in Oakland, right? And how we're choosing to engage as an organization, but also as just people, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
Oaklanders. I live in Oakland. Chaney lives in Oakland. We love this city. I've lived here in Oakland for 22 years almost. And it's such an amazing city that I've chose to raise my children in, because of the legacy, but also because of the community, the culture. There's just a feel to Oakland that I've cherished, and so I want folks to know who you are because you have also called this home. But also you've made major contributions here in Oakland. So tell us a little bit more about your business, your legacy of doing cannabis organizing, amongst many other things here in Oakland.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up some really, really great points. And one of the things that I would like to see, especially for 2025, and bringing back, Monday meals is, getting the community, engaged, right? This is an opportunity not just for people to hear us talk, right, about some of the current issues and changes that's happening in the city, but also to participate and offer feedback. Um, that's the way that I lead, during my time on the Oakland Cannabis Commission. Um, it was about really empowering our equity operators and centering their voices, and it's the same thing with community engagement, voter engagement, in general, right? Is all of Oakland doesn't have the same issues. We have many
Right.
different districts that represents many different communities. I'm an Oakland native, but I lived all over the city. But I was raised in deep East Oakland, and that's where I still reside. And so there's certain things that I might see in my neighborhood that people who are on council or representing, certain districts might not see. Um, uh, and so this is an opportunity for everyone, during these lives and beyond to, give that feedback, and also to participate in some of the work, that we're doing here. To create that change. And so I look forward to reaching out to folks and hopefully, don't get on people's nerves too much. But I feel like this is an opportunity today. We have new members who have been sworn in, to council. There's a lot of uncertainty around who the next mayor or interim mayor, will be. But this is also the best time for everybody to get involved. And I also want to encourage people to do some of their own work, right? Because we can provide as much information and do the education as possible, but definitely finding trusted incredible sources, whether it's through organizations, your local grassroots media, to really stay informed. This is again an important time, not just in Oakland but on a national level. And this new presidential administration that's coming in for another term, they definitely don't have the needs in mind, especially when it comes to poor people and people of color in general. So
Yeah.
I want to invite everybody to come together to be along to participate in that as well.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on in Oakland, and I'm sure we're about to dive into that. But you bring up a really good perspective that this is a new year. It's going to require us to be more engaged than, um, you know, uh, ever before. Um, and I think it's a matter of, like, we talk about as an organization doing voter engagement because we believe voting is an important part of our democracy. But that's not the only thing, right? Once people are elected, and like you said today, a whole new crew of folks are being sworn in as representatives for District 1, so North Oakland, District 3. We have our champion of champions, our sister Carol Fife, got reelected up against billions of, billionaires and millionaires and corporations that wanted her out. And she rose up with the people and did the organizing necessary to advance and win their election. They're
Right.
being in, right?
And can I take this time real quick, because I think it's important um, to acknowledge the wins that we got, right?
Mhm.
Recalls aside, we still had some major wins, and Carol Fife was one of those wins, right? In defeating millionaire corporate developers who poured millions of dollars to try to unseat her, right? Also, acknowledging the win that we had for Nikki Bass, right? Another candidate that was being attacked by the same corporations. And so I want to remind people that our collective people power, because that's what won those campaigns, right? We didn't have the money, but it was the collective people power, and also making sure that we protect and still support candidates afterwards. Like you were saying earlier, the voter engagement and getting people to vote, that is, it can be challenging, but that's the easiest part. It's about staying engaged and continuing to support or hold accountable the people that you voted for,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not always going to do things that we agree with, but you still voted for them. So you can
Right.
hold them accountable just like you supported them. But we need the community to stand 10 toes down even after, the election day, which is extremely
That,
important. So I just
that's
wanted
right.
to make sure we pointed that out,
That is, no,
because we got some great wins.
you're right. Yeah, it's super important. Great wins for the people, are wins for us all, right? So yes, District 3, Carol. We also have Noel Gallo was reelected to represent District 5. And then in District 7, we have a new council member, Ken Houston, who was elected and sworn in today. So
Right. And
big,
Zach Unger.
and Zach Unger was in District 1.
Yes.
So And then we also have a new at-large representative, right? So newly elected at-large, Rowena
Right.
Brown.
Rowena Brown, yeah, continuing to hold down uh, uh, council at large. I'm a D7 resident. I'm from D7, so D7 is important. So expect a lot of more participation. I see people saying D7 in the comments, so we'll be reaching out to you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it's important for us to name these individuals, right? Because this
Yeah.
is the majority of our city council is all new. And I
Mhm.
think that that is in the context of a moment here in Oakland where, well, let's just call it what it was. We had a really off the hook year. It was off the hook, right? And I do think that who represents us matters, but also what they do as they represent us matters as well. And so
Absolutely.
our role is just to say, like, what are the things that are really happening here in Oakland that we want to make sure representatives are taking a really big level of care, but also exerting their power and their authority to address. And we can't ignore that last year, the number one thing on the minds of all Oaklanders and folks was literally public safety, right? Folks feeling safe, folks actually being safe, and then what happens when violence, when care is necessary after folks are experiencing something that's not safe. So
Right.
yeah,
And
it's
really
been a whole
defining what public safety is, right?
big thing.
Because we are focused on just one side of public safety, and it's centering corporations. It's not really even centering our small businesses, but
Mm,
corporations such as Safeway and Walgreens
mm,
and In and Out,
mm.
right? But for me, public safety is 70% of our unhoused people being Black, right? And people over 55
Right.
sleeping out, uh,
The
on the
street.
street, right? Public safety issue is also potholes
Ooh,
that can not only damage your car, but also, people on their bicycles or walking who are prone, to that as well. But we also have to acknowledge that the strides that have been made as far
mm,
as the over 34% decrease in
mm,
homicides. That
mm.
is a that's important, and that should be acknowledged, and it should be uh, somewhat celebrated
Yeah.
as well. And yes, we have many people out here who are suffering with mental health issues and a lack of that,
Mm.
right? I would also say that public safety is uh, a lack of jobs, right? Because when people aren't able to um, have their basic needs met,
Mhm.
and trying to have
Um,
housing and food on the table. And
but
so I think that we need to really rethink and redefine what that means and prioritize what public safety is,
yeah,
because when the basic needs aren't being met, windows will still get broke. I don't care who is in office, who is mayor, or DA. Those are the main things, and we aren't having those discussions,
that's
and they aren't being met, and those discussions aren't being led by the people who are being impacted.
yes. And I think housing. I want to really center into that. I just curious. Sometimes I just have a curious moment, and I'm on my phone. So I'm like, let me just look it up. What a 2-bedroom would look like to rent on the market here in Oakland. I can't afford that. I can't afford 3,000. I can't afford 2,000, right? For a 2-bedroom. And we don't talk about the instability that has resulted over the last decade in the significant rise of rent. And how that's destabilized not only Oakland but the whole region, right? Housing prices going up, skyrocketing. So I think it's a really important part of public safety that people don't really lean into. But we also got to talk about the fact that real estate has a significant amount of power
Mhm.
over our lives, over the region. And we really need our representatives to not only ask the tough questions, but also write policy that protects the people. We cannot continuously have real estate and investment firms essentially pouring millions of dollars into elections to get candidates that are friendly to their desires, and not have these conversations around the links between the two. And I think that's why
Oh yeah.
Oakland Rising has been so invested in the Public Ethics Commission being strengthened here in Oakland, the implementation of Measure W, which again, back in 2022, voters approved to really not only try to root out corruption, the idea of corruption, but also to really lay the foundation for people to have more access to participating in the political process, right?
Right.
And, reality is we came into 2024 with a very optimistic, maybe Oakland can recover in this year, and things didn't get as far as we thought they would get. Instead, we ended up with a city budget where the mid-year budget cuts had to happen. And then we ended the year with the city also needing to make more budget cuts in order to stay solvent. So I want to also say that being able to have faith that our tax revenues are being directed to the things that we care about as a city. Notice how I
Right.
frame that. So I'm going to repeat it for some people. Being clear how our tax revenue, right? Our fees, our taxes, our sales taxes, our property taxes, it's not cheap. People are contributing into our city budget by paying taxes, right? And we
Right.
use those taxes in spend on the things that benefit our city. And so I have to be honest with us as a city. Are we all clear how our money is being spent? Right. We hear a lot about the budget cuts, but we don't hear about what we're actually investing in. And was at the gym because it's the new year, so of course everybody's at the gym, but I'll be at the gym anyway. And on the news, it's all about the fire stations being browned out. That's all they're talking about, right? They're not talking about the fact that the cultural funding in Oakland that has really helped to build the culture to really
Right.
create these amazing opportunities for small businesses and entrepreneurs to come and make Oakland the spot that folks really love for our culture, right? That's just gone. That funding is just gone, right? And
Right.
it's gone in the context of other parts of our city government not fulfilling and not being held accountable to staying on budget, right? We got to talk about Oakland Police Department being over budgeted over and over again for over a decade, have overspent on overtime, have gone over budget. And at the consequence level, we think, oh, when folks are saying this isn't okay, but there's a direct correlation. It just like when we at home and we overspend on things that we ain't supposed to be doing, like Sheen and Timu, which we all need to stop. Everybody
And
needs
Amazon.
Amazon. Let them three go, because the consequence is we're not supporting small businesses. The consequence is we're not staying on budget and saving for those big things that we really want to do. We're not being able to attack some of those larger goals in our personal budgets. Same thing is true for the city of Oakland, right?
Right.
Where if our city budget is not on point and people deviate, there's a consequence. It means someplace, somewhere else, has got to cut, right? Because the pot is not going to grow automatically just because you want to overspend in one area. Same thing is true for the city budget, right? And so there's this lack of conversation around accountability that the Oakland Police Department has consistently overspent. And as a result, other things have needed to be cut. Right. The other part of that is that we just aren't generating enough revenue in the city because we didn't support small businesses and we didn't support entrepreneurs through the pandemic to survive. And so when those businesses close, not only are we losing a spot that is important to us, but we're also losing revenue. We're losing community, right? Care that's going to also help our city, right? So
And we're
I think that
losing jobs.
we're losing jobs, right? People need jobs, right? Because we need a way in which we generate not only revenue for our homes, but revenue in our city. So
Right.
it's just crazy. Like, how can you say that public safety is just cracking down on crime without understanding the context of all of these other things? And I do not believe that folks are having real conversations the way they should be.
Well, we're not having real conversations because there isn't access to factual news, right?
Ooh,
This isn't our story that's being narrated.
yeah.
And I'm going to say what needs to be said real
Well,
quick.
thank
That's why I'm here.
you. That
And, you know, for one, people watching, unfollow all of these doom loop pages. Unfollow them. For one, they're operatives and they're being paid to post about Oakland in a negative light. And when it comes to the budget, we we cannot just continue increasing like property, taxes and putting the onus on homeowners, right? When majority of the unpaid taxes in the city are from landlords, corporate landlords. So if we want to get that money back, the same people who put millions of dollars into recalls and trying to unseat progressive candidates are the same people who haven't paid their taxes to the city of Oakland,
oh,
right? And then they want to go and blame folks like you and I, or just regular community people, for the lack of not having, the funding. And we have to stop voting against our own interest, locally and nationally,
mm.
right?
Did you know that
We're not.
did you know the number one search for 2 weeks after the election was "Can I change my vote?" Like that's where
Right,
we're at, people. We are not doing your research on who you vote for,
right.
and you're not listening to folks in our analysis of where these people stand on the issues. Then yes, there's things that you will make decisions on guided by mainstream media, which is not for us. Mainstream media is a space where an agenda can be pushed and has been pushed, especially about Oakland.
Right. And so a lot of the framing and the narrative that has been pushed over the last, 2 years hasn't been led by us, but also our pain has been exploited. And so there is a lot of misdirected anger and Pamela Price, regardless of how you felt about their leadership, right? Because we can go back and talk about other people, or other past candidates, but if we're unhappy with someone, you hold them accountable, right? You show up to
Mhm.
the meetings, you participate, whether it's individually or with a collective group, to have those shift changes. We did that for 8 years under the leadership of Libby Schaff, right? And so we need to be honest about what exactly do we want the direction of Oakland to go in, support the people that's doing that, join some folks, right? Whether it's an organization, like we said, follow the trusted media sources, that need to be followed. But it's 2025. We have access to so much. And what I'm asking people to do is step it up, right? We cannot continue, we can't be lazy in this moment and just depend on the misinformation that's that's being spread. I'm not going to sit up here and name people and talk about other groups and organizations. We already know that, right? Um, but what I will say, if people who are pushing these narratives around leadership in Oakland, doom loop, and all of those, if you don't see those people out in the streets with the people, right? If they're not speaking to your direct need, they're not for you. They're really not for you. And so I just want us to be more responsible in this moment that we have, in this new year that we have, and being more responsible in the consuming. And if you're unsure, find the credible people, that's doing the work, because we don't have the time to play anymore. The same people that funded the recalls and put millions of dollars, they're not done. They're not done. These people plan in being involved in Oakland politics for the next 25 plus years. And they have long money longer than most of our organizations that are doing the work, that's leading the work, is doing. And we're under attack. This new federal administration coming in at any moment can decide whether they want to pull funding from nonprofits, in doing this work. And so it's very important that we get real. We get real, and I want to use the word again, responsible. Be more responsible.
Yeah, shared responsibility is a real big thing. And I think that that's a perfect way to like frame our work, right? We are here as an organization, as a collaborative that really is about educating the community on the things you already know, but what you can do with what you know, right? How you can involve yourself in holding your electeds accountable, activating your voice. It's more than just the vote, right? We want folks to vote. So let's be really clear. We're very clear about that. And our organization will remain committed to supporting folks to vote. And that's the beginning of the process. We also need folks to meet your representative, articulate the things that are going on in your neighborhood and how you want your representative to address those issues, to understand what your representative is actually doing in their meetings and on the committees that they sit, right? So that you can see if what you're lifting up about your concerns in your neighborhood, that your representative is representing those concerns in the policies and in the work that they are charged to do in our city. And that after that they're representing you and that there's resources flowing to those areas, that we can also see those resources, that you can see those resources addressing the problems that you've raised. And at the end of the day, that's the model, right? Not because we say it's the model because that's the way the democracy was built, right? That's the way we've built it and informed and transformed it over time, right? Because there was a point at which, let's just keep it real, our ancestry and our skin color said we couldn't vote, right? So I have a grandmother at home who reminds me all the time what it took to be where we are. Now, are we where we want to be? No. Let's just keep it real, right? We're not. However, we can get there, and we can get there by doing the work of learning how the system functions, where it must improve, what needs to be let go. There's some ways that this government system, whether it's at the city level, the county level, whether it's at the state level or the federal level, there's some things that just don't work for the people no more. It doesn't work for an unchecked system of real estate. It doesn't work because if real estate is not checked, people will not be housed. That's what we've learned here in the Bay Area. We've learned that lesson every decade since the 80s. The question now is, what are we going to hold our representatives accountable to do, because they have not yet created the conditions that keep people housed. They have not yet created the conditions that keep people employed. They have not yet created the conditions for the corporate accountability that is necessary. We have so many corporations making massive profits here in the Bay Area, and yet we have the number one, some of the biggest unhoused populations, if not in the country. So we have to have real critical conversations about these things, and we have to articulate the problems that we expect our representatives to address, because they can and should and have the authority. We've given them the authority to address these issues, right? So I think that that's like a really big part of the work, and I accept your challenge because I realize that work. I have never yet emailed my representative about the fact that I don't like cleaning the little sewer outside of my house. Okay, so I don't become a city worker
Hmm.
every winter. Okay, I got the rake and the shovel, and I'm clearing the darn sewer all the time in a place where I'm not having to do that, right? That's my problem. It's a small little problem, but it's a problem. It's cold out there in these streets in the morning, trying to free it up, and it floods, right? So, but I need to email my representative and that we need to that this is the issue that we need to address, right?
Exactly.
So I'm challenge. I'm gonna be transparent and say my issue, but that's not the only issue. Every single one of you that's watching this IG live, you got some kind of problem that somebody needs to hear about, right? And it's on us to learn how our local government is working. Emailing your representative might be the first step. It might be downloading the 311 app and learning how that works so you can report stuff. It might be a number of other things. All we're saying is our work as Oakland Rising is to teach you what it is, and for us all to collectively meet Chaney's challenge, 2025 challenge. Be responsible for Oakland. Maybe we should make that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely agree. I did not vote for Ken Houston, but I do plan to meet with him because he's my representative, right? So it doesn't even matter if you support the person or not. They work for you in the district that you're in. And like I said, each district is different. Like you said, you are becoming a city worker and making sure that your block doesn't flood by clearing up leaves. The seniors in my neighborhood, somebody just came to me today complaining about trash, right? And so illegal dumping is a huge issue, in my neighborhood. It's a citywide issue, but the most impacted is definitely the parts of deep East Oakland, because we've just had leadership that wasn't prioritizing those things, right? And so, again, meet with the people, email them,
That's right.
because that's what they're supposed to do. And if they don't address those issues, then you can take it a step further, by holding them accountable. Also, just for your own informational purposes, you don't have to physically be at every council meeting. They're on Zoom. You can listen to it like a podcast, or you can listen to the archives. But I think it's very important, especially and around the budget and so many other important things that's on the agenda, future agendas coming up, to consume and listen to that for your own self,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, you're right. You can totally listen to it, and you can also, not you can watch it on TV. The local station, don't I think it's 27
GOTV. Yeah.
GOTV. So there's multiple ways, and you can also, most representatives have IG pages and Facebook pages. So follow them, get on their newsletters, get involved in understanding who your representative is. We're going to do our best as Oakland Rising to continue to teach and educate folks on how to contact your representatives. So you can always go to our website and join our newsletter. Click on the Get Updates, www. Look, New Year, can't even say the darn address right. www.oaklandrising.org. But at the end of the day, the other thing that you sparked me to think about is, that's one part of the work, is making sure your representatives know you're engaging in the process and stuff. But at the other part of it, it's we all have a collective responsibility for Oakland. So I also just want to say, like, get off of DoorDash. Go to the restaurant. Go do your shopping. And I'm not saying that to be judgmental, but our small businesses here in Oakland, the non-corporate businesses, right? The mom and pop stores, the family owned businesses, the entrepreneurs, they need Oakland to support them. Right. And that's probably been by far my biggest wake up as an Oaklander is I'm like, I give a lot of my resources to big corporations as well. How am I holding myself accountable if I live in a city that is seeing so many small businesses, close because we as residents are not supporting them, right? These are places that we've cherished, and then as soon as they announce, everyone's running to the restaurant or running to the store because they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's not going to exist anymore. So I do want to take your challenge around responsibility a little further and say, how are we as community members supporting our small businesses? How are we supporting our entrepreneurs? Because our resources have to be put into Oakland, not just into these big stores. Like I love a Target.
Oh
Let's
yeah, and it's all by
right.
design.
All by
Kalia, it's all by design. So, and I won't spend too much time because I know we're running out. But the doom loop narrative, right? It's a scam. It's all a
mm,
scam. I just returned from LA. I spent the New Year and holidays with my family out there, and what's happening in Oakland isn't unique. This
mm,
unfortunately, the same issues that we're having here is happening across the country. But
mm,
Oakland has always been a test city.
mm,
Oakland, I'll say it again. Oakland has
mm,
always been a test city. Oakland
mm,
Bay Area.
mm.
So if you can achieve certain things here in the Bay Area, particularly Oakland, you can achieve those things nationwide. And I say this across the board, even with cannabis, we have the first cannabis equity. Now it's a model for cannabis across the country. We
Yes.
just had two major recalls, right? And again, regardless of how you feel about the two, it sets precedent to get rid of progressive leadership across the board. There, if you look at Contra Costa County is currently trying to recall Diana Becton, who was the first Black woman judge and DA. She's been the DA for 7 years. Now, all of a sudden, she's not doing a good job, right? And you're going to see more and more and more of that because none of this is about keeping us safe. This is about expanding prison the pipeline and also getting rid of small businesses to make way for corporate businesses. Again, money that was not only put into recalls, but money that was put into initiatives like Prop 36, right? To further incarcerate people and make it a felony to steal a sandwich.
Mm,
But there was no initiatives on the ballot for healing,
mm,
right? For job creation and expanding. Because let's keep it real, Safeway and some of these other corporations, they're doing everything in their power also to get rid of employees, of humans, and replacing them with AI. So, like you said, the challenge is get rid of the DoorDash and the Instacart, but also when you go to the grocery store, go to the human person that's
yes.
still checking out your food.
Yes.
And I'll take it a step further to my small business owners that's following. Y'all got to stop with the doom loom narratives as well. We all know what's going on, but when you're posting certain things that has misinformation in it, like someone just posted a whole bunch of cars, right, that was dumped on the train tracks, and it's been shared thousands of times. But the information in there was incorrect,
Mm-hmm.
to where they're pointing the finger at the city of Oakland. That is a Caltrans issue. That is a Pacific Railroad issue. That's something that you should be talking to your county representative about. But we're so quick to promote Oakland in a negative light. I have never seen so many people excited to promote negativity in Oakland like I see today. So if we want business, if we want people, if we want the traffic to come back downtown, right? Because it's only downtown. You can go to Temescal and any other parts, right? And businesses is thriving, small businesses. But there was a collaborative, orchestrated movement to rid downtown of culture and small businesses, because the small businesses bring the culture. And I say this as somebody who owned a business downtown Oakland, right? And we're the ones that hire locally. We're hiring, and so support Everett Jones, who hires formerly incarcerated people. Chicken and Waffles hires formerly incarcerated people who are Oaklanders. And it's the small businesses that do that. It's not your corporates. That's why Shake Shack couldn't stay, right? We are a blue historically, and we've always supported small businesses and grassroots working class businesses, and we need them to thrive and survive. And so all of this is connected of how we are voting for certain electeds who are going to support, right? I'll use Carol Fife as an example. She does her caravan that goes around monthly, different businesses in the district, mainly Black women in POC businesses, to support those particular businesses. Pay attention to who's in office that's amplifying small businesses and who is out here at prayer circles for In and Out. It's a big difference.
You're so funny,
it's a big
but
difference.
You real.
And so I just want to.
I love it. Well,
I just want to end with that, because we will have that on council now. Folks who are establishment representatives and the people who are still representing the community. And if you notice, the people who do the work to keep us housed and safe are the ones that are being attacked.
Speak on it. So, this is just a little taste, y'all. We back. Monday Meals is gonna happen Mondays at noon. We are so excited to have these conversations with you all. It's been great to see your comments also in the chat. Next city council meeting, great question. I was just gonna say,
tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow, right? So, lots going on. Definitely want to make sure that everyone knows next city council meeting is tomorrow at 9:30. You can go to the Oakland gov website. And learn a little bit more about that. We will also be continuing to share more information. You can check our website out again, oaklandrising.org. Excuse me, Lord, I'm gonna get it together, y'all. We again will be sending out e-blasts and letting folks know about upcoming issues happening here in Oakland, our analysis on those issues, but also your analysis. We want to hear from you all, right? This is not just about us telling you, but it's really about you all telling us how to continue to improve our collective understanding of what Chaney called #share responsibility for Oakland. We're gonna have to figure that hashtag out, because baby, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and I claim it. But in the meantime, thank you all so much. Follow us if you aren't, and see you in the next week. Peace.
Yes, and best luck to all of us.
That's right. All right, so don't forget, get out there, support Oakland businesses that are here, that are small entrepreneurs and all those things, so that we can really build Oakland back up to be the best city that it already is. See you all soon. Peace.
Thank y'all.